1105 driver here, and as you can see, this is the corn planter, and I am out planting corn today. It's June 2nd, Saturday. This is the last 4 acres I have, 4 1/4, whatever it is. But I wanted to talk about this. I mentioned in my last video about this marker arm being bad. I'm on it'd be the right side standing behind the planter. The mechanism for the marker arms is in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's beyond my finger there. So that's how you get into that. You take this shear pin out, and this opens like a book on both sides. And then you can get into that. But that hose, I got a drippy drip there I need to fix. The hose here goes into that frame back there, if you can see it, and that's where that steel line is. It goes in there, turns a 90 down and a 90 left, and goes all the way over to that mechanism. But that's what was bad. It had a hole in it about halfway across there, and it was spewing oil everywhere. But so anyhow, it's just a little bit about that. And like I say, this is the last field of mine to plant. All my others in, actually everything, but I planted some, what day was that? Wednesday. I planted some, finished no-till in the 2 fields. I no-tilled, and what was that? Where was I going with that? Anyhow, I finished no-tilling Wednesday, and I checked some field. Well, I started to finish the 1 field. I got 1 field, little 4-acre field, I had halfway done a week ago today, and I got rained out. So I finished it Wednesday and started in another field that evening or afternoon, and I got rain, and I stopped, and I went back about 3 hours later and finished it. Ran till dark, and I got rained out again, but I was just finishing up, so I was able to get done. And this year has just been a real bastard. I've been rained on 4 times planting this year. 3 Saturdays in a row and Wednesday night. And it's really getting old. I mean, it's nice having the rain and all, but geez, we can't get, I don't think we've had 4 dry days in a month in a row. You get about 2 to 3 days sometimes, and it just thinks about getting ready to get back in, and then you get another rain. It actually rained yesterday just south of my house. I drove into it on my way home from work, and it rained hard. But it didn't rain at my house or over here. I debated on coming up here last night, but they were calling for a chance of rain, and I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, not near any cover, so I didn't want to risk it. And they were saying no rain today, so I thought, well, even if it did rain a little bit up here last night, this was good and fit Thursday night when I ran the Cultimalcher over it. And for the Instagram followers, I put a little video up. I had this field ready to plant Thursday night. And like I say, I would have finished last night, but they were calling for a chance of rain. So I just figured I'd wait till today. And as long as everything goes well, this will be done in about an hour. But yeah, it's been a real challenging spring, to say the least. And I still have beans I want to no-till, and that could be in whenever. It's no rush on that. Around here, as long as I'm in by about the 20th of June is all I care. I planted the 10th of June last year, and they did all right, other than we were dry for a month and a half, and they didn't finish out as well as you'd like. But you know, planting that late didn't hurt anything. So I'll get, then those 2 fields I got to put beans in lay wet anyhow, so it may be another week or 2 before I even get into those. But I'll do a separate video here maybe later today. The corn that I no-tilled last Saturday is actually up, so now I can sleep at night, because this is my first year no-tilling corn, and I've been real nervous about it, especially with this old antique planter. Even though it's set up for no-till, you just never know until you try stuff. So anyhow, I planted 2 acres in one field, like I say, before I got rained out. But before I went there, I started in a 15-acre field just to get everything set up. And I planted the rows along the road. I put 24 rows along the road and planted my sweet corn before I left to that other field. And that all came up, I don't know when. I was over there this morning and it was up. And it looks like it may have been up for a couple days, but they sprayed it yesterday. And they're supposed to put 10 gallon of 28 to the acre on top of my Lexar and Roundup and whatever else they put in it. So I'm hoping that it didn't burn that stuff, because they claim if you put the liquid 28 on, it'll burn it if it's up. But it doesn't look burnt. It looks okay. So we'll see once. I hope I don't have to replant that little bit. Anyhow, other than that, like I say, it's been a challenging spring. Several breakdowns and just the bad weather, so hopefully things will straighten out here for summer. It's actually going to be cooler next week. We've been anywhere from 80 to 90 for the last probably week and a half, and the humidity's been 80 to 90% or better, so it's been real hot and sticky. It's probably only 68, 70 degrees out today, but it just makes you sweat. And after last night, the humidity was supposed to leave, so I don't know if the cold front hasn't come through yet or what. But everything's still moving good. So anyhow, I'd like to thank Ted Kaler for all your advice on the no-till. Time will tell how that turns out. But hopefully it'll be all right. I was just so glad to see that stuff was up this morning, or the first bit I planted. And then, like I say, the rest is going to be 3 days behind it. But with this hot, humid weather, I don't know if that'll speed things up or what. But conditions seemed to be great when I planted. They were good last Saturday before that rain. They weren't calling for rain until 4, and then I heard 1. It actually rained at 11:30. I wanted to get the 4-acre field planted because it lays wet, and it was ideal planting Saturday. And then I had to wait till Wednesday to finish it. It was probably all right. It might have been a little iffy in a couple spots, but I started on the lower end of the field that lays wet longer, so it was already planted. So we'll see how that comes up. But Wednesday, when I finished up everything, the 15-acre field was just about perfect, or it seemed like it. So hopefully everything's good and grows. So I just didn't want washouts where water was laying, because it's bad enough in a field that's work. I don't know what it'll do in a field that's no-tilled. I have no prior knowledge of it. So, but anyhow, like I say, I'll try to make a separate video on that little bit and walk that and see what you think. So anyhow, I'm just about done here. I got another round and a half till I get to the pond, and then a couple rounds over there, and this will be done. So I won't bore you with all that, and hopefully we'll talk to you later today. See ya.